ever received an email that started with, "Thank you very much for applying for," but it ended in tears. Anybody? You can do that. Okay. I have a rule actually, which is that when I see an email after something, and then I see an email and it starts with, "Thank you very much for applying," I don't bother reading the rest, because I know they're about to break my heart. Now, we've all experienced setbacks, from getting rejection emails to getting fired at your job, from struggling in business to dealing with feeling out, from breaking up with the love of your life to losing a loved one. These setbacks turn our worlds upside down, leaving us helpless, hopeless, restless. Now, what Willie Jolie said that a setback is a setup for a comeback. It probably had me in mind. And so today I want to share with you two major struggles in my own life and how they somehow led to a comeback. So, first, my business struggles. So, in 2017, I founded a startup, a web and app mobile agency, design agency called epower.ng. And as anyone running a digital agency can tell you, cash flow can be notoriously difficult to predict. So, one month, you have a lot of cash and projects. The next month, no cash, no project. And so, the crazy thing about running an agency is that your costs are either stable, your overhead costs, or they are increasing. However, your income fluctuates like what? Like a wave. And so, in order to stabilize our cash flow, we decided that we're going to launch products. I mean, we build products for businesses all the time. So we're thinking, why not build one for ourselves? And the goal was that we wanted to improve people's lives and at the same time, make, revenue so that we have income on a monthly or even daily basis. So we knew what we wanted to do. That was the easy part. The hard part was figuring out the idea to execute. And so in 2019, I came up with the idea of Polyvoice, an online platform connecting elected political officials with followers. Essentially, it was a place where you could talk about what you wanted to get fixed in your area. So imagine, for instance, maybe there's a pothole in your area, a dangerous thing in your place, or maybe you don't have electricity and you want to complain about it, you want to rant. A place where politicians, could also go to see what needed to be fixed. And so, this was the big idea. It made a lot of sense in my head. In fact, I applied for a particular competition, a global startup called GSTECHI, and they were all very excited. I was selected as one of the top 24 innovators in the world. I went to UAE, Bahrain to pitch, and this was it. The idea was smart. It made sense in my head, except it was near impossible to monetize. When I got to the final of the startup contest, the judges asked me a simple question: who is going to pay for this? Ladies and gentlemen, that was when I started, racking my brain. When you ask the question and you don't have a meaningful answer to it and you just start rambling, right? I lost that pitching contest. But that's not even where I'm going. Money aside, I soon got to find out that politicians generally already knew what the issues were. So they didn't want to be reminded or reprimanded publicly. The Twitter bashing they receive from time to time is enough, right? So, of course, politicians were not interested. Right? And then I was still thinking that, from the feedback the judges gave, judges were like, who's going to pay for this? So I was thinking in my head that, the only thing we needed to figure out was the payment part. So I went back to my team and I said, guys, we have an idea. We will just need to figure out payment. Right? And so we built a platform still based on that primary idea called Polyvoice for Work. And the idea was this, that we would get a platform where any worker in any company could anonymously, report, give feedback to the company, right? So that, we would be able to cover things like workplace harassment, sexual harassment, or any issue, anything you want to get fixed in the company that you probably do not want to say face to face. Now, after recruiting a business developer, reaching out to over 100 potential clients, people just say, it's a very nice idea, but they never drop money. I don't know if you've been there before, but you have such a brilliant idea in your head, it makes so much sense, you're so excited, but when it's time for people to drop money, before you start it, you talk to them, they're like, yeah, it sounds nice, but when it's time for them to drop money, they tell you all sort of excuses. That's when you know that you do not have a product that people want. Now, this time around, I also got into another pitching contest, a global pitching contest. This time around, it was in the USA. The last time it was in UAE, Bahrain. And I was so excited, I was passionate. Even one of the judges was saying, like, yeah, I like your passion. In the end, the judges asked me the same question. I lost that pitching contest again, because they really couldn't see a path forward. If you want to do an NGO, the judges were like, do an NGO. If you want to do something that is going to generate business, show us the path to profit, right? And so, personally, I think that the biggest mistake entrepreneurs make is essentially first launching a product or service before looking for paying customers. That, my friends, is the path to doom, the path to hellfire. When you first have a brilliant idea in your head and you go all out to spend money on branding, marketing, CAC registration, all of those things before you find paying clients. Now, in the industrial age, there was this concept called build it and they will come. But this is the information age, right? And that does not work anymore. So in 2020, last year, I was wiser. I already knew the failings, the things that happened with Polyvoice. And so when I had the idea of Grandmaster in my head, you know, first of all, I sought to find out, was there really a market for this? I wanted to be sure, like, do people struggle with grant writing? Will somebody pay for this service? I wanted to be sure. I didn't want to make the same Polyvoice mistake where, you know, we spent a ton of money on CAC registration, you know, about $250,000 on just CAC registration, spent money on all crazy things, and not a single client. So this time around, I was very careful, you know, extra careful. And so, first thing I did was to test the market. I organized a seminar. Now, this is building up to what I'm sharing right now is what you probably call, you know, customer discovery. That's what it's called. So I did, of course, by then I really didn't know. But in my head, I was like, okay, let me start with the seminar. So I organized a seminar, a grant writing training, and I charged about $19,800, which, you know, around that time was probably around $50. And I just wanted to see, you know, would people, you know, respond, would they like it? And guess what? That seminar generated about 800,000 naira in revenue. And it was with minimal marketing, not a lot of marketing. So I knew we were up to something, right? I had an idea. And then, still not satisfied, I did an online survey. I sent out a survey to NGO owners, business owners. I wanted to find out, like, do people struggle with grant writing and all? And then about 93 people filled the survey. And the responses I got were shocking. People were complaining. Some people were literally saying that whenever they're applying for grants, that sometimes they cry. That a lot of times they put in effort, you know, spend months, and then in the end they get a rejection email saying thank you very much for your service or for applying and things like that. So when the feedback came back, I was like, there's something here, but I still was not sure. I wanted to be double sure. So what did I do? I sent out another email to those people asking that would they be willing to pay in advance for a service we were about to launch. Please note, at this point in time, Grandmaster was just an idea in my head, aside from the seminar that we did. And so I sent out an email to 93 people asking them to prepay for a service we had not launched. Ladies and gentlemen, out of 93 people, 15 people paid for a service that was not in existence. That was when I knew we had a winning idea. Now, we got to the final of the startup contest, you know, sometime in October last year, called the Global Startup Ecosystem Startup. It was a global startup. And I got to the final, you know, so excited. But don't forget that I had lost about 3 pitch contests in a row, right? So in my heart, I was very, very fearful and afraid because I had lost 3 pitch contests in a row in different continents. So when the time came for me to pitch, of course, it was remotely via Zoom because, you know, Corona and all. Enter the village people. The network was bad. Rain was falling. All my neighbors, somehow, their routers, they couldn't find it. I'm like, no, this must be the handiwork of the devil. The village people, on my case. Just few seconds before the host was about to say, oh, it seems like we're going to move on. The candidate from Nigeria is not. The network just connected. I'm like, wow. And then I started, deliver the pitch, you know, with all the passion, all the excitement. By the time I was done, the host was so excited. She was literally screaming my name and shouting like, wow. Eventually, I got to find out after that they deliberately put, because they asked us to submit our pitch decks ahead. So they had an idea of what we're going to say. It was after the event that I knew that they deliberately put me last because they were expecting fireworks. So Grandmaster won the pitch contest. Now, this is whether the contest is really not essentially like the validation of an idea, because, you know, one thing that hit me was that I lost 3 pitch contests in a row, not because I couldn't speak well, not because I had poor communication skills, but because I had ideas that seemed good on paper, but that people did not want. This is why I like the Y Combinator motto: make things people want. A lot of us, you want to start business, you just have this brilliant idea in your head, you have to test it.
People vote with their money. Consumers, customers, they vote with what? Their money, not with their words. Your family and friends may tell you that they like what you're doing, but when it's time to pay for it, if you have to chase them, if you have to literally chase people to buy what you're selling, or if you have to harass people or intimidate people into buying what you're selling, or remind them that your family and friends before they buy what you're selling, you don't have a winning product yet. People, consumers, vote with their money. Now, of course, winning a contest is not the ultimate validation of a business idea, right? It's not. But what is the ultimate validation? It's paying customers. It's satisfied customers. This is why I'm very excited with our work at Grandmaster. When I look at our clients that we've helped attract grant funding, when I see clients who are helping families, struggling families earn more, when I see clients who are helping children in remote communities and villages learn better, when I see people who are literally transforming their businesses through grant funding, I know that we're on the right path, and I'm very excited for our growth and for what the future holds. So that's the first part of my story. The second part of my story is my health struggles. Now, oftentimes we look at very successful people on social media or influencers, and we look at them and go like, wow, we assume everything is perfect in their lives. We just assume that it seems as if everyone but us is doing well, right? In fact, there's even a popular slogan, popularized by Mr. Macaroni, you are doing well, right? So you look at social media, especially Instagram, you scroll and you just see, that person that you went to school with, that other friend, it seems as if everybody's balling but yourself. Now, let me tell you this, nothing could be further from the truth. Fairy tales only exist in Disney movies. We all have our private battles, our private struggles. They may not be the same in terms of scale, but they're all there. They're still there. Now, just like you, I had my fair shares of struggles, and in 2020, my biggest struggle was my health. For people that have worked with me closely, you know that I blow my nose a whole lot. I used to. It has reduced now. I used to blow my nose a whole lot. You spend 5 minutes with me, you probably see me grab a handkerchief or toilet roll tissue, something like that, right? And the reason is that my right nostril had been partly blocked for about 12 years. Now, if you don't understand what that looks like, let me paint you a picture. Right now, I want you to picture your worst catarrh, the worst catarrh you've ever had in your life. Picture it right now. Okay, I can see somebody there picturing it. Good. Hold that picture in your mind. Now, I want you to multiply it by 10. That is what it feels like to live with a partially blocked nose for 12 years in a row. Now, the hair, nose, and throat are connected, actually. They're basically connected. So what it meant is that in 2020 last year, I basically had some form of infection either in my hair, in my nose, or in my throat. There were times where I had infection in all three at the same time, right? And so when I go back to the clinic, once they see me in the hospital, they're like, oh, he has come again, right? Like you don't understand why, like, when everybody in the clinics already knows your face, as I'm coming in, they're like, ha, he has come again. It was that crazy. Now, I decided I had had enough. I was totally tired, and I opted for surgery to fix my nose last year. So the first surgery, it happened, and of course, surgery comes with pain, but it barely made any difference. 2 days after the surgery, I'm like, doctors, what did you guys do? Like, I'm not seeing any difference. I'm not feeling anything. Then the doctors told me that, they are sorry, they missed the key detail in my case notes. The one detail they should have seen first, that I had a deviated nasal septum. How will you miss this? Like, this is literally the main reason why there's this blockage. I had 2 surgeries in less than 2 months apart. Now, the second surgery was better this time around because the doctors did some things differently. One key thing that I noticed during this period was the insane amount of money that I spent on my health. The insane amount of money. Drugs are not cheap. Endoscopy, X-ray, all these things are extremely expensive. Now, it was after I had spent so much money that I now asked myself, why was I not on health insurance? So for someone listening to me here, you're thinking that, oh, I'm strong, I'm okay, nothing can happen to me, and that's the reason why you're not on health insurance. This is a direct plea from me to you. Don't be like me. The best time to get health insurance is before you need health insurance. Now, the 2 surgeries also did something to me. They reminded me of how important family is. Really, when things are tough, when you are under the blade, when you are pushed the wall, the people who are going to be there for you are most likely your family, close friends. Maybe if you're in a relationship, maybe your better half, right, or your partner. those relationships are key in your life. A lot of times we trivialize those relationships because we think that they're always going to be there. But I want to say to you today that those things, those relationships we trivialize are probably the most important, because those are the people that you can count on anytime they will show up for you. Those are the kind of people that can cancel their entire appointment just to be with you. Those are the people that can rearrange their schedule, reorganize their lives just to make sure that you're fine and that you're well and that you're okay. So today, make sure that you celebrate those people. And not just today, every single day of your life, cherish those relationships. People ask me all the time, where do you get your inspiration from? Like, people can believe that I went through this experience and I was still functional in 2020, still come to work, go to places, do things. Like, where do you get your inspiration from? 3 places. Number 1, books. So I used to think that the only thing that mattered when we talk about books was just what you did with what you learned. I basically felt that it didn't matter the number of books you read, as long as you practicalize, what you read. But how wrong I was. I found out that the most successful people in the world read on average 1 book a week. Warren Buffett reads up to 400 pages in a day. Now you're asking yourself, we're not as rich as Warren Buffett, not as influential as Bill Gates, and yet we complain that we don't have time to read and study. And so, this is what I found, that reading wide, reading a lot, and practicalizing the things that I was learning helped me become a better person. So if you like formulas, I have a formula for you. This is my formula. It is that quality times quantity times action equals transformation, which is Q square A equals T. Which means that the quality of the books that you read, multiplied by the quantity of the books that you read, multiplied by the actions that you take, will literally transform your life. The second place where I found inspiration last year especially was social media support groups. Now, when you're feeling unwell, especially for a really long time, there's a tendency for you to just think that your case is literally the worst in the world. So I went on Facebook and I searched for some support groups, and then I joined those groups. And what I saw humbled me. I saw people who literally had 10 times what I was struggling with, but they still had hope for a better future. They were still optimistic, they were still positive. So when I look at those kind of people and I read their stories and their health issues, I'm like, wow, what is my excuse? I absolutely sprang up from my pity party. I sprang up immediately. I was inspired by those stories that I read from joining those groups. And then the third place where I get inspiration is mentors and advisors. Who is a mentor? A mentor is somebody who's doing every day what you want to do someday. That's a mentor. That's an advisor. And I'm really glad, to be having such people in my life, because their stories inspire me. These are people that I know. I see their story, I see the moves that they're making, and I'm inspired to take action and succeed. I ask questions, I seek feedback, and I stand on the shoulders of giants. So, in conclusion, setbacks are important if we pay attention to them. They provide clues that things aren't working, either because of our actions or because of our inactions, or even because of circumstances beyond our control. Now, perhaps if we don't encounter setbacks, we probably aren't trying hard enough. When we pay attention, we can learn and maybe improve and evolve. So, maybe your health is failing badly and you're sad, you're upset with the world, or worse, you're considering ending your life. Maybe your business or career is failing, you're stuck at a spot and you're thinking of yourself as a failure. Maybe your relationship is failing and you're heartbroken or you're depressed. Here's one thing I know about you. That you're here right now, watching me right now, means that you're looking for answers. And as long as you continue on this path, as long as you continue to seek information, read books, learn from mentors, read uplifting books, seek out groups of people on the same journey as you, and put your learning into practice, you will soon discover that sometimes when things are falling apart, they may actually be falling into place. And you will soon discover, like me, that your setback is only a setup for your comeback. Thank you.